Alright, welcome back to Pac-Manufactured, a series all about Pac-Man clones. In this episode we're taking a look at CD Man version 2.0, developed by Creative Dimensions and released in 1992 for PCs with EGA displays. Now, CD Man actually dates back to 1989 with the original shareware release, which features less maps and some different graphics, the most notable one being the actual main character sprite. In the original versions, it actually basically just is Pac-Man, and in this 2.0 release, the graphic gets changed for, a different character, so as to not be infringing on any copyrights, which I think is a good move on the whole, because I quite like this. I think it's a cool little game. It very much owes most of its basis of mechanics to the original Pac-Man. You get a maze to explore, you have to collect all the dots. There are power-ups which allow you to eat the enemies, and the main new gimmick that this includes is at some point you will uncover a key which can help you open a gate, which allows you to get the rest of the pellets as well as, maybe an extra power pill. So that's the main thing to it. The display is lovely. I love the lovely widescreen resolution, which is pretty impressive for a game of this vintage. And I do really like the way the mazes are designed. I like the fact that they're like a proper map almost. Like it's actually, the graphics are completely original for every map screen. And there's some cool little animations. And yeah, it's not just sort of repeated tiles. Everything is very particular. They've designed the environment to be sort of organic and flowing. And I really like that about this. I think it's really cool. I've also made the gameplay speed a lot faster for this capture because that is something that you can control from the main menu, and the default speed is a little bit too slow for my liking. So yeah, just ramped it up a little bit to make it a little bit more nicer to play. And it is a nice playing game. Like I've got to say, I never had any problems with sort of that usual stickiness that I sometimes find with a lot of these clones. It didn't feel like I was turning into walls and stopping in my tracks. There was always a good movement, a good flow and momentum to the whole thing. Yeah, controls were really solid. I thought the enemy AI was pretty good as well. It generally felt like they were pretty aggressive, pretty good artificial intelligence on the whole on those creatures, and they do change from stage to stage, which is kind of fun as well. You basically get 2 stages per sort of map design, essentially, and then it switches over to some new graphics and new map design, and it's all very good. It's all very well designed. My only complaint would be that I'm not a big fan of some of the designs where the pills are sort of arranged in just a grid and there isn't a corridor to follow. I'm not a big fan of that whole, just loads of pills all together arranged in a big grid pattern. I think that's a bit lazy. I would much prefer there to be always a corridor to follow, and the pills are sort of lining the corridors. And there's a few areas where you do actually, get essentially bottlenecked into a dead end. That's not a big... I've always said that I'm not a big fan of that. I think that's lazy design. I would much prefer there to always be a junction and an exit to escape from, which means that you can play each map tactically. I think that's a lot more enticing Pac-Man stage design. And unfortunately, this suffers from a little bit of the dead ends. But on the whole, I was quite impressed with this. It's not doing too much to make it completely original. It is very much a clone, despite the fact that they have obviously tried to move to graphics that aren't as copyright infringing. But at the same time, I think there's enough here to keep your attention. I thought it was pretty well designed. Love the graphics, love the animation, love the sort of widescreen resolution. I think that's really cool for a game with this vintage. I just think there's some minor sort of stage design problems that stop it from being an amazing game. But it's still a good Pac-Man clone. I would recommend it.